Hello and welcome back to the Shed Geek Podcast. Here's a message from our 2025 studio sponsor. Let's be real. Running a shed business today isn't just about building great sheds. The industry is changing fast. We're all feeling the squeeze, competing for fewer buyers while expectations keep climbing. And yet, I hear from many of you that you are still juggling spreadsheets, clunky software, or disconnected systems. You're spending more time managing chaos than actually growing your business. That's why I want to talk to you about our studio sponsor, Shed Pro. If you're not already using them, I really think you should check them out. Shed Pro combines your 3D configurator, point of sale, RTO contracts, inventory, deliveries, and dealer tools all in one platform. They even integrate cleanly into our Shed Geek Marketing solutions. From website lead to final delivery, you can quote, contract, collect payment, and schedule delivery in one clean workflow. No more double entries, no more back and forth chaos. Quoting is faster, orders are cleaner. And instead of chasing down paperwork, you're actually running your business. And if you mention Shed Geek, you'll get 25% off all setup fees. Check it out at shedpro.co/ShedGeek. Thank you, Shed Pro, for being our studio sponsor, and honestly, for building something that helps the industry. Welcome back to part 3 of a 3-part mini-series involving Shed Geek Marketing. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you guys have enjoyed this mini-series. Our bread and butter of what we offer, if we took everything that we threw up that we could do, and even an endless list of what we may be willing to do, depending on where you want to go. If we haven't figured it out, we'll figure it out. We'll learn. We're just adaptable. I think that's who we want to be. But if we took the core, the nucleus of the things that we do, and we threw something at the wall and hit it, who is that going to benefit the most? My argument is companies that are going to fall within probably 7 to 20 million.
Yeah.
Not because we can't be highly effective for 60 million, 300 million, and not that we can't be effective for your $1.8 million a year company either.
Yep.
Dealer inquiries come in by the groves because dealers constantly want to know, and we would have to do a whole nother podcast. We've already done some, and we'll have to do some again on branding because we got to start to break down, like, if you're a consignment dealer, do you have access to the company's website? If not, is the company doing the thing? Like, we could get into like just endless, but I want to focus on that 7 to 20 million seems to be our best results because they can afford the nucleus, right?
Yeah.
And they're having a problem getting over to that next level.
Budget, obviously, right? I mean, that just like they can afford to build up that scaffolding.
Yeah.
But it's not just that. It is operations, right? If you're in that window, you have operationally figured out how to scale this part of your business, right? Mm-hmm. So their mindset, they come into it with this idea that, hey, we figured out how to.
They know some stuff.
They know some stuff.
They know some stuff.
Like, they're operationally strong, really
Yeah.
strong, and they're in this high growth phase.
I would say they're also in the process of becoming that, right?
Yeah.
Like, my favorite clients are the ones that are coming to us asking, like, what other softwares do I need to pair along with this CRM? Great question. Yeah. So now that's when I get excited. It's like, well, I like the way this thing does this, and this software does this, and just putting all of that together is very exciting to do from scratch.
That's what I meant.
You've got it. Right?
About being drug into stuff.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's what I meant earlier. And like, let's just take the mask off. All of a sudden, I got to start talking about POS, ERP, 3D configurators.
You got to.
I have to start talking about CRMs. I have to start talking about
critical parts of success. Critical parts of success.
I have to ask questions. And like, we've been fortunate enough to like have a really good relationship with, I would say, the majority. There are some softwares in the industry that are more difficult to work with.
Yeah, more difficult, certainly fair. But I wouldn't categorize anything as being any more than that, right? Like we work with everybody.
Absolutely.
We can figure out how to do it all. But I mean,
if you're willing.
If you're willing.
If you're willing, you have to come to the table and say, like, look, we want to work with you. And it's like, look, it's not about working with us. It's about working with our client. And if we share a client, we need to be able to help that client. And if you won't come across the aisle because of some preconceived notion or some idea of like, you don't like something else we're doing or whatever, then you're holding up process for our shared client.
Yeah, it's hard.
I don't know what else to do,
and it's hard to stand. It's hard to like stand on that leg. I mean, it's hard to justify that sort of. I guess maybe we are. I don't want to call it naive because I don't like to think about it that way. But we all want to do the best for our clients every day. Like, there's just no two ways about that for me. Like we will willingly, and Dylan will say this too. Like we will willingly, downsell into what's appropriate. Right? Like, well, we will, again, consultative, right? Like we will downsell you into the Google Ads package that fits your budget. Because look, you don't need this big thing with all these campaigns. You need something that fits your budget where your 1 or 2 campaigns, or now Google's gotten really great where they have these, the variable creative campaigns. So they actually go and match the keywords for you and shift that on. Anyway, my point is you're much better off to have a really great optimized single keyword campaign than you are to be spreading your dollars too thin. And we will tell you that, right? Like we will gladly take less money. So like it kind of, obviously we understand competition and everything else, but it does just like, it just makes you tense up whenever other people aren't willing to sort of have that same approach with a shared client, with a client.
I think that there's definitely some moves toward wanting to be wholly operational or vertically integrated to be able to solve all the problems. And I think that what you're finding is that's where the rubber meets the road in terms of, acquisitions and mergers and things like that, and who you're willing to work with. And like some want to have complete ownership and vertical integration, control the data. We give, just to be clear, I want to say this because it's a good, perfect prime time to say that. You own everything.
Yep.
When you work with us, you own it. You own it. Ask even the person who left. We said, hey, here's all your data.
Yeah.
They're within 24 hours, I had problems that we had to start fixing, right? We had to be a consultation for the person who left because their new marketing company didn't set them up for success already. Right. And it's just like, well, really, you shouldn't be asking us these questions if you decided to leave.
But
we're going to be helpful. So here you go.
We're going to be Shed Geeks.
We walk them through it, and we said this is what you need to do. But that's what's frustrating because it's like, really, someone should be walking you through all this. Like, we could have let you lose all of that. We didn't let you lose all of it, nor did we hold any of it hostage and make you sue us to get it. Like, we're going to give it to you. You own it. It's your digital assets.
We'll facilitate it, right? Like we will facilitate your ownership of all of the data, the deliverables. When we think of like creative deliverables, whether that's video assets or picture assets or whatever else, like not only will we not hold it hostage, we will actively facilitate whatever that is because you paid for it. It's yours. And like that's.
But it is frustrating. Let's be honest, guys.
Of course it is.
It is frustrating when you're like, gosh, nothing worse than being, like having someone leave and then be like, hey, I need your help here. And you're like, okay, I want to help. So we're going to be helpful.
And as frustrating as it is, though, I would say, I just seeing different clients on board, the more frustrating thing is being on the opposite end of that when you're onboarding a client and they have another company holding their data hostage.
Oh gosh,
and just knowing what that feels
entails.
like, not even from the client's perspective, just from my perspective, you're now making my job much more difficult because of this, holding this data hostage or this account you don't actually own. And
you just put the olive branch out.
Data.
Hey, I want to help this guy. Will you help me help this guy since we share them as a client? Yep. Will you help me help your client?
Good practices amongst peers. And I'll tell you what, and I mean, you're the man here. But as far as deciding when it starts and when it stops, but we are both newly found CPAP users.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why it's not yet, but I think everybody could use a CPAP. But I'll tell you what.
It's been life-changing for me already. So,
and partly because of the CPAP, but partly because I believe in why we do business, how we work, our dedication to our clients. I sleep great every single night.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Are you a dealer who sells multiple products at your shed lot? Are you tired of sifting through clunky or overcomplicated softwares to simply sell a product? If so, it's time to call Cal. Consumer Aligned Logistics is the affordable, simplified, and scalable solution for your shed, carport, or even RTO company. We are partnered with Idea Room and Shed Pro for configurators and have multiple RTO partners to choose from JMag to Heartland to Shed Geek Rentals and Scott's RTO. And if your partner isn't listed here, just ask. We are happy to add more. Give us a call at 425-359-3279 or visit calcanhelp.com. That's CALCANHELP.com. Like I've even told people, I've used this comment here lately. Maybe I'm getting too deep for the podcast, but I used the comment here lately. I said, "Oh, don't get me wrong. It's not that you're not going to hear some bad things about me. I just want them to prove it to you." Because that's what I'm waiting on. Is I'm waiting for the data to show that I'm dishonest, unfair, or have done someone wrong. Matter of fact, this microphone's open. It's open to everyone in the industry. We've opened it up to even people we compete with. Come on and challenge thoughts, because guess what? This industry gets better whenever we have hard conversations.
Absolutely.
The idea that we should sit inside an echo chamber and like preach to ourselves is terrible. Yep. Like I need to be challenged. The one thing that I know that I wouldn't say makes you guys nervous, but I'm like, challenge these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you know more, guess what? We want to pick your brain.
Yeah.
We want to learn from you. Like you can't beat someone willing to continue to learn. Like we refuse to be like, we have all the answers and we're perfect and we have it all figured out, because we know that we're not. No. So we want more conversation to come on here that helps the industry as a whole. And we're realistic enough to know that we can't serve all. Look, if every one of you came and said, we want to work with you right now, we're going to let you down. There's no way we can take on everybody anyway.
Right.
And we've experienced this with marketing already. When a company comes to us and says, I'm at 1.8, I want to double this year. Do you really? Do you really? Even if we could help you double? Because now you're going to run into lumber shortages. Where's your buying power? Can your production keep up? Are you going to have to start a new bay? Can your delivery guys, well, I hire a guy out. Well, what's going to happen? Well, he'll get a new truck. What if he can't? Well, I'll hire another guy. Like you haven't thought about the price of success. And to be honest with you, neither have we.
Yeah.
Neither have we.
Yeah.
And it landed us in a lost client.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we didn't think about the price of success. We didn't think about what we were going to have to do when things started going well. Because I don't know about you guys, but I've been taught my whole life by my parents, find something to fall back on.
Yep.
My parents prepared me to fail.
Yeah. This is a middle class
But
upbringing
they
here.
never prepared me to succeed.
Right.
What do you do then?
Yeah.
Because I'm out here with my name on something that's got to make people believe in it, and we got to produce. Yeah. And if we don't produce or we fail in one area, guess who gets the blame? I told you earlier, I get a lot of credit for you guys. Guess who gets the blame?
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess who gets the blame? And you know what? You don't deserve any of it. I do, because it's a lack of vision if we don't put the right things in motion. So I accept the blame. I take it wholeheartedly in stride and strive to do better.
And we will learn from it.
Absolutely.
You know, one thing
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, we may hate having tough conversations or hate losing a client, hate all those things. I'll tell you what just makes me suffer, and I mean just smoke coming out of my ears mad, is making the same mistake twice. Mm-hmm. We do not accept it. We can't stand it. We will not do it.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just a line that we all draw in the sand for ourselves. You know,
and I want to say, yeah, I'm going to say this. I think it's okay. This was a smaller client.
Yeah, in that sort of...
Relatively speaking, in all of our client lists, probably bottom 10% in terms of like...
And in that range that you're talking about, that's just really hard, right? It's in that growth range that, like,
But there was never a conversation that was like, we can afford to lose that.
No.
You remember that?
Yeah.
That
No.
conversation never
goodness.
turned into, we can afford to lose that. I don't care your size.
Devastated.
And did all we could to say, how do we solve this problem so that this problem doesn't exist again? Maybe we will. Maybe we'll have more failures. I'm quite certain we'll have more failures.
But I'll tell you what I know for sure is that despite our failures, we left as, whatever. I'm like you.
Leave the door open.
It feels, I'm just, again, our upbringing or whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our belief system doesn't allow me to brag, but, not only did we leave the door open, I feel like we left with, with our intent and our purpose and what we are here to do out on the table, and everybody understands it. And I will not be surprised one bit if whatever the time frame is, 6, 12, 18, 24 months in the future, like we're going to be considered to go back to them at some point and do a great job. And I guarantee you we will, because the pain and the sting of this will be as fresh in all of our minds as it is today. Yeah. Because that's just the way we're all wired, which is good.
Yeah. Before we go, you know what breaks my heart probably more than anything is the calls we get from dealers. I mentioned that earlier. And there's so many dealers out here, and we talk to them all the time about just the basic necessity. Like, here's how I'm going to break it down to any of the dealers who are listening today, especially who inquire about marketing. Here's the problem. Let's say you're a consignment dealer and you sell $1 million a year. It's a pretty successful lot, right? At $1 million. Let's just assume that it's a pretty standard 10%. So your revenue is $100K. By the time you take your expenses out, your lot rent, you pay yourself, you do all this. It sounds like a lot, but is there hardly enough money left for you to establish an effective marketing campaign? Because just the same as like if you say I want to get into the shed business and I want to start manufacturing and building sheds, there is a cost to lumber, there's a cost to nails, and there's a cost to nail guns, that is just rudimentary for you to be able to start. And that's what breaks my heart the most is like, how can we help them, especially if they're consigning and they're 1099 and they've had to create their own brand. And then how complex is that, Wyatt, when you're fragmenting your brand because you sell for XYZ company, but now you're, Bass Pro Buildings, and it's like, is Bass Pro Buildings ever going to be a 30 lot facility, or are you going to probably have just the one? Or are you going to have 2 or 3? And we get so caught up in people know our brand, people know what it takes so much. If you go out and ask, just go to lunch today. Go to lunch today and ask your waitress, I was thinking about getting a storage shed. What's the name of the company that does storage sheds? And you're most of the time going to get, I just go to Lowe's or Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yep.
The biggest companies, the 300 millions, 500 millions, most of the time, if you took 10 people, I think that 9+% of the time, you're not going to get someone who can name a company. And we get so caught up in thinking we're actually doing a better, but I'm a local legend. Well, probably 100 people in your community do know that you're Boobaloo Sheds.
Yeah, right.
I agree. I'm not taking that away from you. What I'm saying is, do 150 people mile radius, do they know you?
Yeah.
Can they find you? Can they see you? And do they just think of Boobaloo's whenever it's time to buy a shed, or do they get on and say sheds near me? Boom, start looking for who has website authority, good presence, good, like, hey, these guys got great social media following. Hey, look at all these cool videos. Oh, look, it's, this guy with the beard and the glasses. I like him. I see him all the time.
And it's hard for us. You're like, you're doing a great job of like putting it into but it's hard for us because if that dealer level person is the person coming to us, then that's who we're being consultative to. And if we're being consultative to that individual dealer lot that is not company branded, or that is whatever, that is not big company branded, then our honest opinion for that person has to be control your brand.
As a preacher friend of mine would say, you're meddling. And we're going to meddle here for just a minute. We got to go. We're over an hour already. This might be a 4-part series, but hello, shed sellers. Let's take a moment to discuss the shed customer and meeting their expectations. I remember growing up in the neighborhood where a certain percentage of the houses had well-manicured lawns and well-manicured homes. These were the type of individuals who felt it was important to purchase a well-constructed home or vehicle, or maybe equipment to help maintain the quality of the item. As shed manufacturers, we seek to provide a well-built quality shed. We want the customer to feel satisfied that their hard-earned money has been well spent on a product that will last. At LuxGuard, we believe adding high-quality rubber flooring to your line of sheds makes sense to the customer and adds value the customer can appreciate. With each year, sheds are becoming more complex. The customizations we are seeing are virtually endless. LuxGuard not only gives a complimentary aesthetic appearance for their shed, but also protects the floor from spills and keeps cleanup simple. Offer your customer the customer service they seek with LuxGuard. At LuxGuard, we are committed to delivering exceptional customer service and innovative products to help our customers achieve their goals. We strive to meet the evolving needs of the customers. To speak with one of our ready-to-serve customer product specialists, simply call 336-468-4311. To see our product and view an installation video, just visit our website at luxguard.com. LuxGuard, the floor that lasts a lifetime. If you were a manufacturer and you came to me and you said, what is the best thing that we can do? Well, I'm consulting you, as you just said, control your brand. Franchise your Facebook pages, control your brand. If you can do it, go to W-2, do a McDonald's model, own your lots. That's too expensive.
Have your own 3D builder.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can go far.
Control your assets.
Yeah.
Right. Control your assets.
Yeah. Have your own trucking, do your own building. If you really want to know, I can't afford to do that. Perfectly reasonable. Like, who could? Like, only so many can. Yep. So then it's like, well, okay, well then this is what we would do. This direction, blah, blah, blah. If you're a dealer and you come to us and you say, I do this, you are a 1099 dealer, which means you're an independent contractor. So you are not an employee of this company. Correct. Okay. Then I'm going to treat you like a business owner and tell you, this is what you need to do. You need to control your brand. You need to set yourself up in such a way that if you ever switch vendors, that like you have control of that. But we could get into, and I've got a guy coming up before too long that we're doing like, and we've got Calculate, Kirk Paquette and Clark Paquette, and they do some advertising with us. They do some business services, some fractional C-level CEO type stuff and things like that. But I've got another guy coming up. One of our listeners, James Lynn, actually put me onto this guy. I talked to him yesterday. He seems excellent. So shout out to James. Thank you for connecting me to this potential future, or what will be this future podcast guest. And talking about your numbers as a whole and understanding business as a whole, and
yep.
like understanding where your place is. If you're a consignment dealer, like if you are a consignment dealer, you run a business. Yes, you're accompanying a provider, but you are a business owner. Like, so
because the problem with those conversations is that if we take off the hat of the 1099 dealer that is talking to us, mm-hmm. and we just zoom out and we just get a 10,000 foot view and say, mm-hmm. what is our true consultation for this location? The true consultation is that bigger company should be supplying you with the value that you're coming to us and asking about, right? The true answer
Let me play devil's advocate for just a quick second.
Sure.
They're already giving you $200,000 of free buildings on your lot with no net 10, no net 30, no net 90.
Totally fair.
So you're not having to wholesale purchase these things. You get free inventory. Can they then also be responsible for creating all of your marketing budget?
Well, they got the logo on it. That's theirs, right? So like there's either an expectation that you go build their brand identity in a way that is or is not up to their standard. Who knows? I mean, the landscape here is vastly different. Now, this is done different ways across different industries. I've been in lawn equipment, tractors, power equipment. So there's like a co-op idea where basically.
Which, by the way, people don't know this about you. You're like a franchising expert. There's so many things that, you guys always say such kind things about me. I wish I could just sit and give y'all's resume half the time to people because they don't know what they're missing by not just calling and having a conversation with you. Yes, I spend time podcasting and on the phone. Doggone it, we could hire 10 people and you guys could be doing the same thing because you're that valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
that.
you guys are that valuable that you could just sit and probably spend 8 hours on the phone talking to people and could probably put other people to work doing some of these task oriented things. But
we try to learn. I mean, at a minimum, but I think at whether it's a system of co-op where as long as you stick to brand guidelines, then the dealer level, can spend the money and then they get reimbursed for X percent. Some of the companies that I worked with, whenever we grew Hoyer Outdoor Equipment over in Brookport, Illinois, whenever I was there, some of those companies would do 100% co-op payback up to a cap. Some of them would do 30, 40, 50% on every dollar spent.
And some companies do a co-op in
right.
the shed industry.
So, there are ways that like you can offer that value. I mean, if you're honestly asking me that question about $200K versus lead gen or whatever, if I'm being totally honest, I would say, well, if that's the calculus that's going into it, then my consultation to a company that viewed it like that would be, then why don't you put 160K,
dude?
Right? Like why don't you reduce that inventory number?
Yes.
Because ultimately,
or
many
another
of these,
lot altogether. Like the conversation I've had recently is like, how many lots you got? We've got 35 lots. Your digital storefront, how many lots do you have? What do you mean? Yeah. Do you have even one?
Right.
Because you could put the same money into your digital storefront, getting it started, but you'll say, well, this is expensive. And I'm like, is it any more expensive than a new lot?
Oh, well, certainly not. Yeah,
and then they're like, no. And I'm like, okay. And it's going to produce how much? Oh, and by the way, it takes away all of those pesky problems like dealers that you've had for 20 years who are good old boys and good old gals that we all know and love.
Right.
That sell sheds, but they say, I ain't getting on Facebook.
Right.
I don't care about technology. I don't care about any of this stuff that they're talking about, and I'll never do it, and I won't be a dealer. And it's like, well, we don't want to upset the dealer network. Cool. You don't have to.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. But like the approach of just saying that big brand, however we want to, name that or discuss it, that larger umbrella brand also then, like, again, true consultative hat here, like what's the right way is that all of those activities, digital marketing activities, lead generation, providing those assets, and having a much more lead gen focused relationship with your dealers provides the carrot that you need to actually get those people who aren't going to do this or whatever, right? Like it provides, like when you go to a dealer meeting and like the talk at the table or the conference or, in the conference room or wherever you're at turns into, well, we're up 30%, right? And you're sitting there saying, well, I mean, I'm basically having the same year I had last year, or I'm marginally up or marginally down, and everybody else here is using these tools, right? Like now you start to put real carrots out there in front of them that are saying, like, you have to, and then, obviously with the carrot comes the stick. And if you're evaluating these people and they're not using the tools that allow you to get 30% more sales out of your location or what, I mean, we're just making up numbers here, but whatever it might be, right? Then you have to have, the stick and say, look, we expect that in a town this size in a location like this or whatever it might be, we could put up a digital storefront, right, and expect to have basically the same results, if not better.
That's right. For the people who's like, well, you're trying to eliminate the dealer. False. Absolutely not.
Great customer service will always right,
it is the manufacturer's place to grow how they want to anyway. You can choose to distribute the leads however you prefer. You can do zip code distribution if that's what you want to do. If you want to do an in-house model where there's somebody there selling, if you want to pass that on to us, if we ever create something, we'll sell them. If we get there, I don't even know if we're going to go there. Like, that's the problem. You know, when people say I'm doing too much, it ain't got to do doing too much. It's doing a good job at anything you're doing. Yep. I don't want to just start something and just be another, you know, I said earlier, people get the unfair constitution, you know, of like, I want to start a business. It'll never work. It's also because we have overpromised and underdelivered so much in this industry that people are like burnt. And I'm like, man, let's just don't do anything until we do it well. Probably part of our conversation about losing a client. Yeah. You know, it's like, we're perfectionists. We don't like, we suffer from perfectionism. We don't want to lose one. It's perfectly reasonable to lose one in 50, 60 clients. You know, it's like perfectly reasonable in terms of retention. I think we've done pretty good. But still, it irks, doesn't it? Yeah. It irks. Like, everybody here is just like, this will never happen. You know what I mean? It's just like, you know, like, we'll make sure to solve, we'll turn over every rock. Well, you know what I mean? It's like, you feel 16 hours of work ain't enough. We'll work 24 hours. You know, we'll work 8 days a week. What do you want? You know, it's like, we're going to solve this problem. Hello from the Shed Geek team. I'm Shannon Latham, host of the Shed Geek podcast. I would like to encourage all of our listeners to attend this year's Shed Sales Summit, hosted by Making Sales Simple in Knoxville, Tennessee. Whether you sell directly or have a team of shed sales professionals, becoming a shed sales professional and increasing your education with the advice of proven industry leaders who are offering valuable advice is absolutely imperative to your growth and helps to take your team to the next level. From a marketing perspective, we know just how important it is to have shed sales professionals out there representing our products in the industry. I can't wait to be in Knoxville at this year's Shed Sales Summit. I hope to see you there. I think we do. I love these conversations because these are just open. These podcasts are just open. They give people a chance to see who you guys are. They do talk about high-level things, but I can't come. I'm going to end it. We keep saying we're going to end it because this is a 3-part already. I just can't help but like, if what you want from us in a quote is to just give you a price and beat the next guy, I suppose we can travel down that road. I don't think that that's the identity of who we are, and I think we'd rather not do this if we can't do a good job. And I don't just want to beat the next guy in price. I want to talk with you about your dreams, your goals, your vision. I want to know where you're going. I want to know, like, we're going to get into some details with you. We're going to get into, Dylan says the down and dirty. You know, that's what he always says. We're going to get in your business. We want to know, where are you going? Oh, well, you're just doing marketing for us. Why do you want to know that, bro? Because we got to know what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to go from 10 to 20 mil? Then let's get you there. Let's figure out a plan to make it happen.
Define success, right? I mean, like, This is something that doesn't even get talked about enough, you know, in normal conversations, right? I mean, just in the conversations we all have with each other. You think about these types of things a lot. But like, you know, like it's easy to define success as 10 to 20, right? Or 10 to 15, or we're just setting reasonable goals, which all that is good, right? But, you know, I mean, for me, right? Like, if somebody asks me, you know, to define success for myself, you know, it is building a home that will last for as many generations as my kids and their kids and their kids care to live in it, right? That's what success looks like for me, is leaving something on our family farm, you know, that as long as people are interested in being on the farm that my 4 great-grandfathers lived on, as long as they want to live there, hopefully one day somebody will talk about me as their 4 great-grandfather used to live right here on this spot, in this house or whatever, right? And so, like, you know, that's a different definition of success than us sitting around talking about, 10 to 20, right? I mean, that's talking about, okay, well, what's it going to take to get that house built? You know what I mean? These are the types of things that, understanding what success, defining success for each company, for each person in that company, for each division of that company is really important.
What does success look like for Wyatt?
I was just thinking here, like all conversation that we've had in these two parts, I feel like they all kind of boil down to goals. So for me, I would say success is when those goals are met. But our CFO had mentioned something that it's really stuck with me ever since she mentioned it. And then there's kind of another piece of advice that I had picked up from a podcast I was listening to, and they both pair really well together. But the first one is you don't make your goals are not your metrics, right? So if you make your goal your metric, you are not gonna get anywhere at all, right? Your metrics are what helps you obtain the goal. And if for even in like personal life, right? I was talking to my wife. We're trying to save up, buy a house, right? So that may be the goal, but then we have to establish metrics. Well, then once we've had our metrics established, it then becomes really easy, because that second piece of advice I heard was once your goals are clearly established, every single decision you make becomes really easy, because you ask yourself, does it contribute to the goal? And if the answer is no, you simply don't do it. And so for me, success is the ability to identify what those goals are and then achieve those goals. And if I'm not meeting those, being able to figure out why, and then maybe my goal is unrealistic, right? And just having a clear vision of that, to me, is what success looks like, because you're comfortable with what you have done. You have set a target and hit that. And if you're doing that, I mean, I don't think you're really stoppable in any way, right? I mean, like if you have that nailed down, there's not much that can slow you down other than yourself.
Got a month's worth of content coming in today, and the truth is we could sit here and do a podcast every morning. Like, we could probably sit here and do one every morning at 6 a.m. because the shed industry is made up of people, and people, they have a lot of life going on. Whether it's talking about our faith, talking about our goals, talking about your goals, talking about sheds, talking about carports, talking about steel structures, barn doors, horse run-ins, animal shelters, dog kennels, chicken coops, furniture, sales, marketing, POS, ERP, SEO, CRMs,
and then
RTO.
all the people that make all those things go around, right? I mean, all those relationships and yeah, it's I love it. I mean, I still consider myself fresh. I mean, I'm easily the junior member in the industry sitting at this table and really in this office, except for the new CRM hires and everything. But I mean, I've just come to love it so fast.
I think we're just thankful for this industry. I mean, it's really definitely made a huge impact on all of our lives, and sad that Dylan's missing this episode with us, but maybe I'll hop on another one if we do a part 4. Can't say enough about that guy and appreciate what he's done, his leadership, and just the everything, how he's gotten involved, the talents of this team, the unsung heroes, the Christians and the Nathaniels and the Davids and you know what I mean? Like, a lot of the people who are behind the scenes, that don't get a lot of credit.
We're really encouraging Nathaniel to do some more client interactions and things. He's such a great guy, such a lovable person. And actually, to Wyatt's point about
the Nicks, didn't talk about. There's a lot of people have met Nick, though.
Nick Henley, Nick and Nathaniel both. But Nathaniel's one of his KPIs, to Wyatt's point there, one of his KPIs is to just kind of go be creative with
creative personality
with his time, right? Go pick a client, be creative. Let's see what they
cool.
think about it, right? Like, let's shoot it over to him, and he's going to do such a great job with that. So anyway,
the ability to do animations that he does that you guys haven't even seen, maybe a couple things here and there. I mean, my favorite thing to do is every time a client comes here is like bring them in here with Nathaniel and say, name 2 animals. And he'll combine them and draw it, and put it on the whiteboard. It's there's no lack of creativity, and I think it was Maya Angelou, and maybe I'm saying it wrong, her name wrong, but that said, the thing about creativity is the more of it, the more you use creativity, the more of it you have. Yep. And that's the thing about us is we've never stopped being creative. Like I have a sign in my office that says if you can't stop thinking about it, don't quit working for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, why is it on your mind? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, there's so many things that have changed my life, philosophies and thoughts and memes and all the little stuff that, just really take root in your soul as seed. And then they grow to be this really cool thing. I mean, it's just a podcast. At the end of the day, you can say whatever you want, but it's just a podcast, just a bunch of people talking. But I think it's made up of experiences and life experiences and people's experiences and business is people. Simon Sinek says if you don't realize that 100% of businesses are people. So if you don't know people, you don't know business. Digital Shed Builder is an online shed configurator that strives to provide incredible visual quality, fantastic customer service, and an amazingly low price point, making it a perfect fit for any shed dealer looking to increase their online sales. Digital Shed Builder is simple to use, taking less than 5 minutes to integrate on your site. The Get a Quote feature streamlines your sales process, showing you exactly what your potential customers need. They offer a highly customizable experience that accurately represents your brand and unique shed offerings, working with you directly to set up everything you need in a configurator. With no extra startup cost, no lengthy contracts or commitments, and no hidden fees, Digital Shed Builder has been created with quality, simplicity, and affordability in mind.
And that's still true today, although we're getting to a
kind of blurring the line a bit nowadays.
Lines are starting to blur. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Well, it's been it's definitely always enjoyable talking with you guys, having you on here. I think you guys add so much value. Each podcast is different. I have people tell me I don't listen to every one. I'm like, I get it. I have favorite podcasts, and I don't listen to every one of them. I hope you're blessed by my content today. The rawness, the realness of what it is. If not, we'll get away from that. But, we love to listen to the listeners. Love to have you on as a guest. This is really cool dialogue here today between us internally, but the interview style with having people on, it
would be cool to almost have, a discovery or even a discovery for just a service with on a podcast with a person here. I think that would be
I wish someone
awesome
would contact us. I'm going to go out on a limb here. Yeah. I wish someone would contact us who's interested in marketing services. And you're willing to let us we don't even know you. We haven't talked to you yet. I don't want to set up anything.
Yeah, right.
If you're interested and you're willing to let us turn your discovery call into a podcast.
Oh, that'd be so awesome.
If you're willing to allow us to do that, because we record our calls for note taker purposes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We got to go back and make sure we didn't miss something. But if you're willing to call and say, hey, from the get-go, when we schedule that first discovery call, let's turn it into a Zoom call, let's turn it into a process and just watch how that works. We're open to it.
And that'd be so valuable for anybody who's on the fence or is unsure to just take that first step. My goodness, it'd be so much. We have a lot of fun on those calls.
Yeah.
I mean, because we're digging in and this is what we love.
Well, it might be opening up. That's the thing. It might be opening up a little bit of vulnerability for your company. So you're probably unwilling to do that. But I'm just saying, if you're willing to, maybe we need to edit out particular numbers
or
something like that for your benefit. Yeah. Like, we don't care. We'll throw a quote on Shed Sales Professional to you today.
Right.
And if somebody's like, man, you put your prices out there, like, we told you we weren't afraid of prices. We got to get to what the price should be based off what you need.
Right.
Correct.
And then we'll share it. We'll share it with everybody. I don't care what gets out there in front of people. Look, we've been we talk about in the weeds. We've been copied.
Yeah.
We've been copied in ways that we know we can prove it. We've never even told them.
Right.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I know people are going to people. That's what people do.
Yeah.
People are going to be people. It's okay. We're going to keep head down, nose to the grindstone, and we're going to work for you. So give us a call. Some of the best guys I've ever worked with in my life. I promise you, they have a. Here's the beauty, Cord, Wyatt. Use an outside industry or someone outside the industry, got no problems with it. Why should I? Doesn't matter. What we do have that's a competitive advantage is we've got over 50, now nearing 60 clients of data that we can pull from, best services and practices. We don't have to mention those companies. We don't have to talk about them.
No.
But, hey, this is what we learned over here in Idaho.
Yep.
This maybe will help you in Florida or Texas or New York, because I know it's a different demographic, but we have a company about your size that did this, made these moves. That's invaluable. That's one of the coolest things is, like, we can pull our experience into the fray and say, hey, look, you don't have to tell us what a gambrel roof is, and you don't have to tell us who the 3D configurators are. We know them. We talk to them every day. POS systems and just like all the stuff.
We've got direct contacts at all these places that answer the phone when we call, even if they don't answer the phone when you dial in, because we work with them every day. I mean,
we have to.
We have to,
and your benefit. And as long as they're willing to work back with us, and I don't know, some of them are like, hey, like what you're doing, want to compete. Well, come on. Yeah. It's like, here's the one thing, I promise I'll give to you, is the same thing whenever people say, well, aren't you worried if someone else does a podcast? No. Matter of fact, my challenge is do better.
Yeah.
Do better than me, because it'll encourage me to do better. I should not sit in the same echo chamber that I accuse people of and say, no one should get to do this or do this. It's America. You go do what you want.
And the pie,
once you start,
the pie is going to grow. I mean, like, we have macro trends here as an economy, as a society, right? That, like, I mean, anyone who's watching that has any kind of tiny home mention, ADU, accessory dwelling unit, mention, are doing full finish outs and even mention that or have ads running for that, right? Like, the society is moving towards, I'm on the city council now in Metropolis, and we just had to have a debate about how many chickens you can have
I know.
I've been
watching the chicken drama.
Great drama, right? But, like, we're moving in this direction, and this is what I said, was basically that, like, we need to think about, as a city, what we're saying to young people, because here's the bottom line with young people. They realize that processed food and, the way that we have built the systems around us for the last, frankly, post-war-ish, right? I mean, certainly starting in the 70s with Roundup and some of the harsher chemical stuff. But my point is, not to get into all that specifically, but the point is, people are coming back to a more traditional way of living that involves not just food, but less debt, right? Yeah. Less debt and a more sustainable life. Whether you think about that from a food perspective or a money perspective or just a waste perspective. How many square feet do me and my wife, my daughter's, she's now a junior in high school. She'll be a senior this coming year. How many square feet do we need? Yeah. Right. And we're even a little ahead of the curve of the actual generational shift that is happening in this country right now. And, like, sheds and portable structures and custom built on-site structures and affordable solutions that are able to be granted to people at costs that are reasonable and that solve problems and can be financed or can be RTO, like all these things, like the pie is going to keep growing, right? So to me,
it's just a matter of time, Cord, before we do probably a tiny home podcast. But you know, like, it's just probably a matter of time before we get into that world, because so many manufacturers can serve both the minimalistic mindset, you know, downsize, you know, mindset of Gen Z now. Yeah. You know, but you can also serve the Gen X and baby boomers and the thought of excess and storage and traditional storage.
Of
like,
course.
I need a place to put my old Corvette. I need a place to put my motorcycle or my whatever you have, your mower.
The next 50 years of the shed industry is not a zero-sum game.
Right.
This is not, can I elbow out the next guy?
Yeah.
This pie is going to grow.
Make it a bigger pie.
You know, now, you know, there's going to be competition. There's going to be people consolidate. There's going to be people go out of business. Just because the macro trend is growth doesn't mean that there's not going to be a handful of companies that do that growth a heck of a lot better than everybody else. So my advice would be one of them.
A lot of things are going to, you start keeping your eye on AI, start keeping your eye on automation in the manufacturing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, there's some crazy conversations I'm having that I don't get to share, unfortunately, with some really cool people who I keep asking to come on the podcast, and they're giving me a maybe. But they're doing cool stuff and fun stuff, and I think it's awesome. Look, I'm here for it all. Like, we've made our living in this world. Yeah. We want to be a part of it if you'll let us be a part of it. Like, it's been fun. It's already been fun going into year 5. It's like I wake up every day and I'm like, I'm not discouraged. The difference is, and I'll be honest with you, just between us 3 girls here, you know, it's turned into a job.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm Clark Paquette, one of the founders of Calculate Business Services. If you're in the portable storage building industry, you already know how much is going on behind the scenes. Managing lots, tracking sales, keeping up with cash flow, and staying on top of your books. It's a lot. That's where we come in. At Calculate, we specialize in helping businesses like yours with bookkeeping, accounting, tax prep, business support, and even fractional C-level services, like having a part-time CFO or COO on your team without the full-time price tag. We know this industry, and we understand its unique challenges. Our team helps you stay organized, make smarter decisions, and keep your business running smoothly so you can focus on building and selling. Whether you're just starting out or scaling fast, we've got the tools, the team, and the experience to help you grow. And to get the conversation started, we're offering a free 30-minute consultation. No pressure, just real help. Visit calculatellc.com and click Contact Us to schedule your session today. Let's grow your business together.
Yeah.
So I do have a passion project and setting on my wings back here that I'm thinking about. I'm still very passionate about this, but I did this when it made me no money.
Yeah.
Right.
I did this because it was just fun. Yeah. I admit that it's a job now.
Sure.
Like, just being honest with you, it's a job now. I haven't lost my passion for it, but I'm more fueled by having you guys involved and other people involved. Like, I want you to tell your story, because I think people, if we don't talk about marketing, sales, or ever do business together, I've got friends in this industry that I'll never do business with. I want to talk about life with you. Come on here and talk about how you got started. Other people are encouraged. You know, I got one guy who tells me, I love to listen to podcasts. I was like, come on mine. He's like, I don't know. And I'm like, you love to listen to podcasts? He's like, yeah. I was like, somebody's got to be a guest on that for you to listen to. Right. Other people want to hear from you too. I'm not going to ask you about your trade secrets on the podcast. Share what you want, but come on and have a high level conversation that creates good content that makes people want to listen. And if you say, well, I'm not much of a public speaker, or I'm afraid of public speaking, look,
me too.
I'm not either.
This ain't public. Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm a bit more polished now than I was when I started, but the reality is I started when I was nervous.
Yeah.
You know, I was nervous and I was scared, and it was worthy of being, you know, of talking to someone about. So whether it's the Steel Kings on Monday, us on Wednesday, Sam on Fridays, do a tiny home podcast, whatever, I don't know. Let's go. I'm ready to keep going, and I will fuel my passions, 100% passion, in some other direction. But I'm going to keep doing what we're doing. So thank you guys for being on today. This is an easy 2-parter. So we got 3 now. Let's see if we can get another one. Who knows? Maybe we're done for the day. But Any
Shannon.
final thoughts that you guys want real quick? Anything that you want to say to anybody? Any shout outs to anybody?
Oh gosh. I mean, you hate to be like,
Start name dropping all the
you
customers.
hate to, but I mean, Nick and I just had such a great time, going out, not to turn this into a pitch, but we're doing this, premier content capture package where one of the biggest things in just getting people to stop the scroll, the effectiveness of your advertising, how well we can optimize and ultimately drive that cost per ratio down is just how good your content is. Me and Nick had such a great time out in North Carolina. We flew out there. There's a direct flight from Paducah to Charlotte now. Had such a great time out there. I won't start name dropping and all that because,
I saw you out there. Howie sent me a picture.
Yeah, we had a great time and did really great work, which is obviously the point of it. But I mean, it is the people, right? It's the people that you get to spend time with, and those people aren't always just the top dogs, right? Like it's not just about president, CEO, founder of the company. We have. You get surprisingly really great content out of the guys who are working in the plant.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You get really great content out of one of the local dealers who's just so great.
Are some of the people not some of the coolest people?
Yeah.
That's what I was about to say. Just like my shout out would just be to our clients in general. And anybody that we've had discussions with, right? Even people who haven't became our clients, like these. This past year, a little over a year now, that I've been doing this, like it has been the most fun I have had at work because of the people. I mean,
job offers you getting behind our back here, Wyatt?
None as of yet, but no, it really has been awesome.
Isn't that the nature of the industry? I want that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I think
I'll just hire them.
I think there's, I think like I know that that's like something that we all are aware of, but I also think that like there's a sneaky. The way that like we live, or you specifically, but like we're much more just public doing this than so many other companies.
Yeah.
That I think that there's like a little tinge of like, oh gosh, if we go try and poach somebody, Shannon's gonna have like a
special episode dedicated to this.
I just assume that you're getting job offers all the time. I've been around the block enough to know that that's typically the way most industries work, but this one is very bad about it. I'll just work my way in there, get to know them, and hire them away because I want that now. Yeah. And that's why conversations of no competes come up. You see these big companies that start to do this with dealers. I've never been a fan of no competes and things like that. I want someone to work. But, man, when you put so much time in, I mean, I had that happen with a dealer. Somebody that I, cared a lot about, and they couldn't work on commission, so I paid them. And next thing you know, and then the company come along and is like, hey, I'll snag them up and pay them twice as much or whatever it is. You want to be happy for your people and for your friends and all that stuff if you're not in a position to,
of course,
to pay that. So you never want to stunt anybody's growth. But, man, like it sucks. Maybe I shouldn't use the word sucks on the podcast. It stinks whenever something like that happens, but that is the industry. It's like, hey, man, that guy's talented. I want, or gal's talented. I just want to.
Well, it's the nature of the beast. Everybody knows everybody. Yeah. And I like the point that Wyatt made, which is like, we're not just, this sounds so like, you can say we're being cheesy or whatever else. We're not just thankful for the clients that we have, like just our clients. We're thankful for the conversations, the discovery calls we've had with people that have never paid us $1, right? Because allowing us to come
hours of content.
Yeah, allowing us to come in and have that conversation and get to know you and be vulnerable about where you are in your business and where you want to go and whether or not this is a fit, right? Like, I'm not going to start naming names or whatever else, but I can think of a half a dozen people in the last month who, are just maybe not in the position where we wind up like we're talking about. They're a dealer. Does it make sense for them to put this huge spend in? Like whatever it is, right? But my goodness, did we have a great time getting to know them?
Yeah.
And
great company.
And getting to understand, what they've got going on. So, that's a great point. And I think all of us feel the same way. We love the people and love the conversations. And
great company. I used to do this, so I'm going to ask you guys this because y'all know me really close. You know me really well. But I used to ask people, I still do, at the end of it, any questions you have for me since I'm technically interviewing you? Any question you have for me that I'll answer in full transparency. Doesn't have to be podcast related or anything. You can embarrass me right now, whatever you want to do, because y'all know me well enough. Any question that you would have, and I'll answer.
Oh gosh, I want to. I know we've talked about it, but I'm
so nervous.
I'd like to pin you down on. I think it would be so great to. I mean, we just talked about doing a discovery call here. With someone live, that'd be great. I feel like we almost have to do our best to plan, and I know it'd be hard, a road trip style, even if we just took 3 days, the three of us sitting here in Dillon, and we go out and we try and hit 2 shed industry people. It doesn't have to be dealers or manufacturers, shed industry people, and go do our little 3 or 4 day road trip where the boys are out in the world and going and doing this thing live with people. I know you've done that plenty, but I just think we would have such a ball doing it.
Yeah.
So that's not much of a question other than like just pressing you into like, let's do this.
Yeah. Let's make it happen. Let's do it, dude. I'm pretty open game for anything. What about you, Wyatt? Any question? Anything you want to know that you're like, what is he holding back on?
I don't know, Shannon. I'm curious, and I don't know that some of the questions I have could be answered on the podcast. But I always hear about you, and Cord's the same way. I feel like I'm this way at times. I know Dylan's the same way, and that's also what makes all this fun, right? But like, there's just so many ideas that float around. I'd be curious to know more about
all of
some
my
of these
personality
big
tests come back as trailblazer. Like, look, I'm very heavy on vision and I'm very light on implementation. I'm getting better at implementation, but that's why I've had the heartbreaks I've had with people who are like, I'll just hire the implementers. I like his ideas, but do they really? Like, sometimes the ideas get embraced only after they see that they'll work, and then it's just like, so like, I'm just someone who sets and thinks and strategizes, and the reality is I can't shut it off. I try to. I wish I could, but I love vision. I love creativity. The Bible says in the beginning God created. Yep. We're made in God's image, so we're made to be creative, in my opinion, and I think that. Like, trying something, even if it doesn't work, is okay.
Oh, yeah.
But why would I not try again on something different? Business people, I told my good friend this just the other day. I wish I could tell you guys who it was, but I told my good friend this. I said, what the problem I run into with business people in most cases is you want to be so risk adverse that you want proof beyond proof beyond proof beyond proof. And then you'll consider it, and then you may do it. And I think what's happened is people have learned through business adventures to be risk adverse because they've been burned and look, I have too. But there's nothing about me that wakes up in the morning and says, don't try that. Don't, I mean, do I have faced my own personal dilemma every day in this industry being a public? Like, did I try to be public? No, I tried to interview other people that I thought were, right. I was calling the term shedlebrities, you know what I mean? Like the Sam Bylers and stuff. I was like, this guy's hilarious. He's awesome. Let's interview him. I want to, and you become this Figma on accident. And I'm very much more introverted. Me and my wife spent a lot of time at home. You guys saw that. Everybody went out last night, and I was like, I'm going to stay home and watch the finals game. And I was like, come on out.
Which apparently turned into, anyway.
Dude.
What a great game.
What?
Yeah, I didn't see it.
It's crazy.
I didn't make it home in time.
So, I was amazed. Go Indiana. I was amazed to see that shot. He's done it so many times. But I'm much more introverted than maybe you realize. I have my moments of, like, massive, like, times of being in front of people, then I crash out, and I just need to be alone. I just need to be, I'm happiest with my wife.
Yeah.
Like, me and my wife,
awesome. She's so awesome.
You know, some people say they can't work with their spouse. I can't work without mine. Yeah. You know, she's the best. Another unsung hero. So, like, you know, we just stay at home and we're very quiet. I like to work in the yard, and I'm really boring, honestly. So, but this has become my life, and this is fun, and I want to do this. I want to do it more. I maybe even want to do it in other industries. I have found a purpose, you know, in communicating and doing that through podcasting, and God's given me that, and I really want to use that for good. Yeah. But yeah, feel free to ask your questions on air or off air, no matter what they are, because I'm just trying to be real and get through the day and do it the best way I know how with God's promises. So
cut down to it. Absolutely.
Yeah. You probably find all of us are very similar in that way if you get to know us on a personal level. You guys ever want to come to Paducah and just hang out with us, come to Metropolis, hang out with us, you're going to find the same thing. Yeah, I got a room at the house if you really want one. So come on down and we'll hang out. But thank you guys for being on today, being part of the process. Part of my success is because of you, and I owe you a untold debt for that always. So thank you.
Well, same in reverse. We appreciate you, Shannon.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks again, Shed Pro, for being the Shed Geeks studio sponsor for 2025. If you need any more information about Shed Pro or about Shed Geek, just reach out. You can reach us by email at info@shedgeek.com, or just go to our website, www.shedgeek.com, and submit a form with your information, and we'll be in contact right away. Thank you again for listening, as always, to today's episode of the Shed Geek Podcast. Thank you, and have a blessed day.